Longtime followers of Midnight's Edge will no doubtly be familiar with our extensive coverage of Star Trek Discovery, Picard, and everything else related to the series. With the ending of Season 3 of Discovery leaving the series seemingly nowhere to go, word, along with a trailer, came from on high that Season 4 of Discovery would be dropping sometime in 2021, and that Season 2 of both Picard and Lower Decks would be on the way as well. However, now comes word that a veritable wrench has been thrown into the works, and may yet delay not only the filming of Discovery Season 4, but Picard as well. In this video, we will go through the latest news regarding Star Trek Discovery, how it relates to Picard, and what that might mean for the series, as well as for the future of Trek. When we last left the somewhat less than intrepid crew of Star Trek Discovery, they were venturing into the unknown after Michael Burnham had yet again managed to single-handedly solve every problem thrown her way. As we have covered in previous videos, it appeared that the finale of Discovery Season 3 had undergone extensive reshoots in order to transform it from not just a season finale, but if need be, a series finale. All major plot points had been tied up. Various crew members were moving on with their lives after arriving into a strange future. And Michael Burnham had once again saved the day as only she can, after having rebuilt the Federation and becoming the new captain of the Discovery, essentially by default. Viewers were also greeted with a quote from Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry and the original series closing theme to round out the credits. Meanwhile, over at the newly remerged Viacom CBS, plans were in motion to rebrand the moribund CBS All Access into something that the suits felt fans would actually want to pay money for. The newly rebranded Paramount Plus would use not only Star Trek as one of its selling points, but Anson Mount's Captain Christopher Pike, Patrick Stewart, and Michael Burnham would also appear in ads touting the service. Then on April 6th, confirmation and trailers came for not only Star Trek Discovery, but also for Picard and Lower Decks. Also, it seemed to be confirmed that not only was Season 2 of Picard filming, but a familiar face, John Delancey, would be returning as the omnipotent trickster known as Q. If you're a fan of this new version of Trek, all of this would seemingly be good news. So what happened that would delay production? On April 23rd, it was reported by several news outlets that production on Star Trek Discovery at Toronto's Pinewood Studios was shut down. The production is being halted until early May as someone from Zone A, the primary cast and crew, came into contact with somebody who had tested positive. The exposure allegedly happened off-set, and it was revealed through contact tracing. As a precaution, the production has been shut down, and the person who came into contact with the exposed individual has gone into a 14-day quarantine. Though also shot in Toronto, Strange New Worlds and the Kurtzman-led Clarice are not affected by the shutdown, as they both are shot in different locations. But what of Picard? The following information we are about to relay cannot at this time be independently verified and must be treated as rumor. As usual, we advise you to take the following with the usual grain of salt. The situation regarding the filming of Picard has been rumored to be tenuous. Due to Sir Patrick Stewart's advanced age, he is at significantly higher risk for becoming ill, and thus it would make him more difficult for any studio to obtain an insurance policy on him. Furthermore, with Netflix jumping ship on Picard and Amazon reportedly not happy with the end result, Picard as well as Lower Decks were seemingly left in an awkward position, leaving the latter without any form of international distribution. According to sources, funding on Picard did in fact come through and production was able to begin. However, sources also claim that the production is short on funds. The timing of the shutdown of Discovery allegedly would indicate that a case of robbing Peter to pay Paul may be going on behind the scenes at Secret Hideout. Embroiled in all of this is not only the new president of Paramount Film Studios, Emma Watts, whose main goal is to figure out a way to restore Star Trek to its former glory, but also news of a Star Trek IV spearheaded by Bad Robot, which is to be written by Kalinda Vasquez, a writer on Star Trek Discovery. Further complicating matters even more is Akiva Godsman and his involvement in Strange New Worlds. On April 12th in The Hollywood Reporter, Akiva Godsman gave an interview in which he parsed some interesting details about the development of Strange New Worlds. When asked about his involvement in the series and when things became serious, Goldsman said, "There are a few things I will take credit for in the Star Trek universe, But this is actually one of them. Before we move on, take note of how Goldsman, in an ever so subtle manner, just distanced himself from, more or less, everything done with Star Trek up till this point. Under more normal circumstances, a new showrunner would grasp at any straw to talk up their previous involvement. But here, Goldsman does the opposite, despite him having been involved with Kurtzman Trek since day one. Instead, he talks up his general love for Star Trek, saying, "When executive producer Alex Kurtzman called about joining the Discovery team, I was wildly envious of any involvement in Star Trek because I love it so much. My very first Star Trek convention was in 1975. I had no idea what his show was about, so I went online and I started reading that it was clearly going to be about Captain Pike and Number 1. So that's what I thought I was going to join. Then I got there and it couldn't have had less to do with Captain Pike and Number 1. So I started agitating for them, because the timelines overlap with Discovery and the Enterprise was out there. When the Enterprise appeared at the end of Season 1, and once Anson Mount and Rebecca Romijn and Ethan Peck started living those characters in Season 2, it sort of became this wonderful inevitability." Goldsman, unlike Kurtzman, openly admits that he was indeed a fan of Star Trek from the beginning, although he conveniently downplays his involvement with everything that went down before, such as being the director of the disastrous Picard finale, in which Jean-Luc Picard died. But so his friends wouldn't feel bad, they installed a copy of his memory into a robot body, made every bit as old and frail as the body that had belonged to the real and still very much so dead Picard. So it's not like Goldsman is entirely without sin here. According to sources, which again we must advise you to take with a grain of salt, it would appear that Goldsman performed an end-around executive producer Alex Kurtzman in an attempt to right the veritable ship. Kurtzman was busy at the time with his Silence of the Lambs spin-off, The Critically Savaged Clarice, and may not have been invited to work on Strange New Worlds to begin with. For Emma Watts, who was primarily tapped to figure out what to do with Star Trek as a franchise, it would appear that things not only became more messy in her thus far short tenure, but her worries will be further compounded by the Viacom-CBS share price continuously taking a beating. That is not her fault, but she has a big role in signaling to investors that Viacom-CBS's output can be profitable, and so far, there is a ways to go in demonstrating just that. We will keep you up to date as we learn more. Till then, let us know your thoughts on this in the comments.